Oops. Welcome to the Lift Heavy Run Long podcast. You can find us at www.liftheavyrunlong.com, on Twitter and Instagram at liftrunlong. Also, feel free to email me directly at the address wilson@liftheavyrunlong.com. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel and leave us a 5-star review on iTunes. If you are not a member of our private Facebook group, you should be, because we want you to be there. Search for Lift Heavy Run Long Community and request to join right now. We are doing Lift Heavy Run Long podcast episode number 70, and it is just the four of us. It's just the three of us now, but the fourth one just got here. So he's coming in hot. I have sitting to my right the newest and only female member of the Lift Heavy Run Long 50-mile, 300-pound deadlift inaugural woman, Dr. Amanda Kimsey Horrell, also known as Jacked in Tan.
Hello.
I am so proud of you.
I'm super proud.
I am so excited. What an accomplishment.
I'm pretty psyched.
You're the only one.
So now my goal is 400.
Oh, is that it? You're going to get into the guys thing.
I want to get into the guys.
Okay.
Charlie, come here.
Hopefully some other girls will come forward and be a part.
I think there's probably some others out there that just haven't come forward.
Yep.
My thought was, why are we just now talking about this?
Did she have it last year? I mean, last week?
Yeah.
It was like that was like 2 weeks ago, wasn't it?
I can tell you why. Because she hadn't filled out her bio.
I had done my bio till today.
Oh, okay.
I hate writing.
That's twice. You get 2 more times to touch that microphone before I jump out of this building. There are constantly, one of y'all is grabbing, and turning it up doesn't help. Every time you turn it up, it makes
then we
it
need
go.
to figure out a solution.
Well, we can all get those. And
Just sit
headphones.
still. That's a solution.
Well, how do I drink out of my cup?
Well, you can do it when you drink out of your cup, but you can't sit there and twirl it like it's a hair braid or something.
Oh, well, I don't feel like I do that.
Well, you do.
Well, then it won't happen again.
We'll get you a weave. We'll get you a dreadlock weaved in
Does
there.
he have a dartboard like
can
in
play
your bedroom, like with my face on it, where he throws darts at it like constantly?
No, that's what I use my phone for, as a text message. I text darts at you. And we have sitting next to Dr. Jacked in Tan, our friend and studio producer, Ava Perry.
Hello.
How are you?
Good.
Now you're gonna have. I'll get on to you the same way I get on to Vaughn.
Yeah.
You're gonna have to speak
Speak
into
up.
that microphone. Speak proudly. We're so glad to have you.
Thank you.
You've been on a 3-week hiatus.
Yeah.
Where have you
been here in
been?
a while.
School,
School,
friends.
school, and friends. Those are 2 valid excuses. And to her right, we have the one who everybody came to see, the
Oh,
Reverend Vaughn Rawls.
I'm the one.
How are you?
I'm good.
What's been going on?
Oh, work?
Are you excited to not have a guest and it just be us to chill out?
Yeah, I think so. I think it's better that way,
I am.
actually.
I'm super psyched.
I figured that both
I
the
know.
introverts would be pretty okay with that.
I'm really excited. I've been waiting for this week for like 4 weeks. I keep asking every week, is this the week that it's just us?
There's
Yeah.
nobody that I don't know in the room.
That's right.
Yeah, me neither. It makes me very scared to have somebody I have to sit next to that I don't know. My body language at the beginning of the podcast is always like this. And then towards the end, I'll get to know them. I'm like, okay, I'm all right sitting next to them.
Not trying to say anything about any of our guests.
No.
However, there are some that are okay, and some people are not. You know, some people are like some people it's like
who has not been okay? No, don't answer that.
No.
not okay, not
No, you're-
okay in a bad way.
You've
but
dug this hole. You got to get out of it.
no. It's just not a hole. I'm perfectly comfortable in this area. Like I'm okay sitting next to Ava. That's fine.
Charlie.
Last week, for instance, the
John.
John Autry, that was awesome. Like, but there are some people that you just don't know. You know, some people have that personality where it's like, it's okay to be in this space with me. And then the other people are like, you should not be in this space with me. Does that make sense? I don't understand.
Yeah, it makes perfect sense.
I don't really know what I'm trying to say, but
Well-
it's not a bad thing. But if you're already an introvert, it can make things even worse for you. But if somebody's like an overly extrovert person, you know what I mean? Sometimes we introverts will feel like, oh, hey, I really like you.
Right.
Because you make me feel good.
Because somebody like me comes over and starts like slapping your leg and getting way too close to you. But I'm over here, so I don't really have to experience what you have to experience, where you walk in, see someone you've never met before, and immediately sit shoulder width with them.
Yeah, but it's not, like I said, it's not a bad thing. It's just a personality thing. Like some people have different personalities, and you'll enjoy being around a person more than another person just because your different personalities. Maybe I am digging a hole.
No, it's Doug. No, I was just seeing which way you were going to go.
I feel like I'm in a hole, but
There's no question about whether there was a hole dug at
I'm just
some
being
point in
honest.
that conversation. We're going to jump on over here to the greatest cameraman in the history of cameramen, Keto Chris Perry, the cameraman.
That's right.
How are you?
I'm doing great.
You sound great.
Well, good.
I appreciate Vaughn, you're not alone. I've already jumped on Chris. I've already situated microphones. I've already gotten on. I feel like I jump on everybody equally, pretty much.
I'm over here. I'm scared to breathe.
Yeah, you should be. You should be. But you've been doing a better job of breathing. It helps.
Yeah.
We have a noisy podcast.
We have Charlie here too.
Hey, Charlie. Charlie's been behaving. We have no reviews to read
Aw.
because nobody cares. Nobody's left us a review. Ava, do you have iTunes?
Yes, sir.
Well, will you get on there and say something nice about us and leave
I
us a
will.
5-star review?
I
And then we'll
will.
read it on here and you'll get to hear it live. Won't that be fun?
Can you make up a name that doesn't say Ava Perry? Just make up somebody else's name. Like just pretend like your name is Jane.
Run long
Smith.
every day.
Yeah, you have all kinds of friends. You just said that you haven't been here for the past 3 weeks because you're overloaded with friends. Go to each one of them and have them leave us a 5-star review.
I will.
That would be dynamite.
I'll get them each to leave a review.
For each one that leaves a review, they can call and I'll buy a box of Girl Scouts from them. Or a box of Girl Scout cookies.
Wow.
Who's digging a hole now?
I brought the backhoe, so I need to go ahead and apologize for Vaughn. I won this competition. Whatever your school is selling, I will buy that. How's that? I can't see anything. My vision has left me within the past 2 weeks.
Is it when you got your haircut?
I got a pretty dramatic haircut.
It doesn't look that dramatic.
It doesn't?
It looks normal.
It looks
Does
better
it?
now. It's already starting to grow out.
My hair grows really quickly.
Yeah, keep eating that protein.
She put the whammy on me
Yeah.
pretty good.
He came home with basically a shaved head. It was like,
Really?
whoa.
Oh, really?
It's the conversation. They get to a point and it's good, and then they go to clean it up, and their conversation picks up, and it's like they just keep going. And then I'm left with a wonky, junky
A wonky haircut.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. The closer you look, the worse it is.
I think it looks great.
It looks fine.
I faked going blind in 2nd grade. Have I told you that?
Did you really?
Yep. My friend Scott Townsend had eyeglasses, and I thought it was the coolest thing in the world. So I actually had my Bible teacher write a note home saying that she had to move me to the front of the classroom because I couldn't see very well, and it was a progressive failure. It was over time that I made it get worse and worse, even cried. My brother and my dad made fun of me throughout because they thought that they knew I was faking. But my mom bought it for a while, and then we went to the optometrist, and he said just flat out, like, he's lying. Like
They don't give you any contacts that really don't have any. They don't correct your vision. They just, you just put the glasses on, or you put the contacts on that are fake.
That didn't come to my. I never thought about just asking, "Can I have?"
Yeah, you
glasses?
could always buy the glasses and just poke the lenses out.
You were like walking around like I can't see anything.
Yeah,
Charlie,
Yeah.
come here.
and I would, how if you stare at something and you make your eyes kind of go out of focus, you really can't see. Like if you try to not see,
Okay.
I would do that. And Andy, our daughter, she wears glasses because Amanda wears glasses. They're just not
Yeah.
prescription.
Yeah.
Oh.
But I didn't know that you could do that. So then when they dilated my eyes and the guy said I was bogus, I said that probably the dilated eyes cleaned out whatever was messing with my cataracts.
Did you get a spanking for that?
I didn't get spanking. I got in trouble. Got yelled at.
Do you ever go to when you were a kid, go to the eye doctor and they squirt that yellow stuff in your eyes?
The stuff that dilates them?
Is that what you're talking
Yeah.
about? The
Yeah.
dilating thing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Will you ever forget that feeling? Like I know that I will
Like
never.
your eyeballs are numb.
They
Yeah.
still do that. Yeah. They put the
Like,
numbing
right
stuff in
now-
there and dilate
Right
them.
now I'm like, oh God.
Makes your eyes wide.
Yeah, that's terrible.
It does to your eyes do the same thing on acid. They just, your
Do they?
pupils are like that.
Everything
that
goes
wide.
back to a drug.
Yeah.
But it feels that way?
No, it doesn't hurt like that. It
Oh,
feels
okay.
a lot better.
Oh, well, I would rather do acid.
Yeah, you would.
Than have that dude squirt that stuff in my eye.
Pardon my language, but I got referred to as an asshat this week.
Oh, yeah?
Did
That
you
was-
see that?
was funny.
On Lift Heavy Run Long by a reader. The lady like
didn't
70
see that?
years old.
Maybe.
She's 70?
She's really old.
Oh my goodness. I
Tell-
just
tell
realized
me.
I thought it was like a younger teacher.
No.
Tell me what happened. Was I in that conversation?
No.
No,
I-
it's a blog post, right?
It was a blog post
about
about
studying.
the topic was studying, and it posts the first few sentences, and I'm talking about how I hate study and I hate being told what to do, and I just don't like formal education. I think that's probably all that she read, but the blog post goes on to say that essentially your whole life is a study. You're constantly in some form of studying if you're paying attention and moving forward, whether you like it or not. So embrace it.
Right.
So you could look at it as I was pro study. And she said, why did you sign up for the class, asshat? Then don't sign up for the class.
Yeah, then don't sign up for the class, asshat.
Do you know this person?
No,
I thought it was a friend at first.
It wasn't your mom or anything?
no, it wasn't my mom's friend. It wasn't anybody that I know. It was some lady who was of all things, she was a guidance counselor.
And you know this because you went and stalked her on Facebook? Or?
She said it.
Okay.
She said, I said, to which class are you referring? Whatever I said. She said, I'm an ex-guidance counselor or academic advisor. I've heard it all. And so I think she thought now this guy's making excuses for whatever he said. It was just
Wow.
really weird thing.
Well, that's quite an accomplishment.
Yeah. Yeah. Like you said, you
You get the haters.
you haven't really made it till somebody tells you what to
Phil,
do on
Calls you an
Instagram.
asset.
70-year-old ex-guidance counselor internet troll calls you an asshat. I can't wait.
Your
She's
day
one of
will
those
come.
counselors that told the kids you'll never amount to anything growing up. And then they go and be doctors and they're like, yeah.
Yep. That was her.
Yeah.
As she sits at home doing whatever she's doing, she didn't seem like a very happy
Yeah,
person.
and it wasn't my mom.
It wasn't my mom.
It wasn't Ann Rawls.
Now, your mom's really supportive of me.
Yeah.
She's always
Yeah.
been really, really supportive of my blog. Hey, guess what?
What?
Chicken butt.
You know why?
Chicken fries.
Because it flies.
Chicken thigh.
Oh, I don't know.
What's the price?
What are y'all doing?
$1 twice.
This podcast has gone way.
Off the plan direction?
What was there a direction? I like not having a direction.
Yeah, that's kind of the idea, is just kill some time. I mean, we've been so regimented. We've had all these killer guests that Chris has lined up. I mean, we got guests lined up till almost Christmas. Yeah. Some really, really interesting ones.
Christmas is like 12 weeks away.
Yeah.
I have Andy's Christmas list, but I don't have anybody else's.
I'm excited for Christmas.
What is your one thing? How does your Christmas work? Do you just ask for a bunch of stuff, or is there like the one big kahuna prize?
I usually pick like one big thing.
And I already know what it is.
Yeah, this year I'm asking for a refurbished, not a brand new one, a refurbished MacBook to like editing and all that, because I like to do like that kind of stuff.
There's no excuse for Santa not to bring you that.
Exactly.
There's one right over there. Just take that on the way out.
There's a lift heavy run long one over here.
I think that'll probably work in your favor.
Yeah.
Yeah, Santa cares for you. You've been a good person, I'm sure. What kind of editing are you going to do? Like video editing? Final Cut Pro type stuff?
Like both, kind of like picture, like, you know, editing like pictures and like videos and all that. So
I think that's so cool. I wish that I had more experience in that I started doing that when I was younger.
I really enjoy it. So
Is there a program in particular that you would use for editing pictures?
videos, I like to use like iMovie
Okay.
and all that. So
We've been looking at a couple of software.
Well, the Final Cut Pro that I use is essentially iMovie with more features.
Just on steroids.
Yeah, on a lot of them that I don't understand.
A lot of steroids.
A lot of steroids.
It costs lots of dollars
Yeah.
in comparison to.
In comparison to
Free.
iMovie, which is free.
So you said, guess what? So was that going somewhere, or was that just completely random?
No,
Okay.
but I'm just now remembering what it was. But I've got it.
Okay. What?
Like a steel trap. You want to hear it?
I do.
Chicken butt.
Stop, Vaughn.
I got the house rented for Sylamore.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah, I saw them. I've been so busy. I did not reply, but I did reply.
You did reply.
Yeah, I did. I did see that.
You would have known by now if you had.
I'm excited about that.
We didn't get the house on the mountain because they don't rent the house on the mountain anymore.
That makes
the
me
mountain
sad.
cabin is not rentable.
I was connected to that house.
Really?
That was like our house.
Yeah, but last year when we were staying in it, you said we've got to stay in a different house next year.
You say that every year, and I have never said that. I like that house. Though every time you ask which one, I want the one on the hill.
Well, you said that you couldn't be beneath the den where all the people were making a bunch of noise.
I don't think it matters.
So we got a good one.
Yeah, I don't think it matters either because everybody's going to make noise regardless. I'm just a light sleeper.
Pretty soon, you know what we should do is we should just charge people to come and stay with us.
I told Amanda
it should
we
be
should.
like, you know how like they do those cruises where like people that have these podcasts do like, we're doing a lift heavy run long cruise. Come on,
by.
we're gonna. We should do that with Sylamore. It's such a fun thing. Like, we should just rent that whole neighborhood.
I asked Amanda
and do,
that.
Like,
He did. He said, shall rent both houses and then just rent it out from
no,
back.
not both. All the houses. Like rent all of them, and be like, okay, for whatever amount of money, you can come for an all-inclusive adventure with these crazy people.
I'm all for it. I told her after I asked, should I rent the other house and then we'll take care of it from there. And then I said, why don't we just build cabins and we'll know one weekend out of the year we'll have them rented out and then go bankrupt from there. But it'd be a great weekend.
Yeah,
That'd be
but
fun.
you'd have to sign a waiver, like in case it snowed, and you have to.
And you have people crawling up to the.
We got to include all
That
these.
was your first Sylamore, the one that you crawled up the,
Yes, that
the
was-
driveway, or
It was.
yeah.
That was his first 50K. That's my
You know
first
the funniest thing
25K.
that was actually posted on Facebook. You crawling up, and the funniest part about that whole video was Greg Perry in the background just dying.
he said it was a power move.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was wild. But somebody is leasing the cabin on the hill, trying to buy it from them. They don't want to sell it to them. But for now, it's unrentable.
Well, that's bad news, but it'll be okay.
We got I always want to continue to make mention of the Walking Tall 50K that's coming up, being put on by Brian Swanson and Sean Hillsden in October
Brian
of 2000.
Williams.
Brian Williams and Sean Hillsden. What'd I say?
Brian
Swanson.
Yeah, not that.
He'd love to, though.
Yeah. I'm sure he'll run it.
Yeah, he'll be there.
Yeah.
I told Amanda and Chris, because I'm full of good ideas, that what we should do is we should have them give out what was my idea?
A couple of free admissions or free whatever is through Lift Heavy Run Long. Like some kind of contest.
Yeah, and if you win it, you don't have to pay. You use a coupon code. You enter a code, LHRL or whatever, LHRL podcast. Whoever is randomly selected, if they come in from out of town, then they get to be a guest on the podcast that Thursday night, and their entry fee is free.
They get to do a tour of the studio.
Is that a terrible idea?
How far away is it from here?
An hour?
Okay.
I would think that people coming in town would be plenty good with staying in Memphis and going to run at Big Hill
They
Pond.
could stay not too far from here.
Yeah.
The only problem is who you draw from that. I mean, if you get a complete psychopath to be on
Like
the
some lady
podcast.
that's a...
Well, we haven't gotten
Asshat.
killed yet.
No. We could have that lady
So-
that called me an asshat.
We are going to have that lady. Chris has already gotten in touch.
I've been dialing her up ever since
She's going to be our surprise guest for Christmas.
Christmas special.
2-hour special.
Chris is liable to do it. He's pretty persistent. He hunts these people down. He locks them in pretty quick. Chris Clother's race. What is
Oh.
that called?
That doesn't have a name yet. He, Chris Clother, remember Chris that was on the podcast?
Yeah.
He contacted me earlier this week and said that they're putting on a race in March of next year, and asked if we, give some information out, tell the world about it or whatever. But what it is, it's going to be a race at Shelby Farms. It's a 50-mile race. They got
Oh my gosh.
yeah, they got a 50K race also.
At Shelby Farms?
Yeah, it's going to be
All right.
around, just the Shelby Farms. I don't know if it's all pavement or a little bit of both or what it's on. Can you hear me?
Make sure you touch that thing as often as possible. You've stuck it in one of your nostrils, and now you're down.
You know what you should do?
I can feel him looking at me.
Every time you talk, you should thump it. Like that.
Do that.
Oh, God.
So at first I was like, wow, who's going to do that? But then I realized that I ran 40 miles on my 40th birthday.
Around
Pretty much.
there. It's going to be a lot
Tour de
better, I
Wolf.
guess, because they revamped that whole
They did.
park.
Yeah.
But what they're going to have is they're going to have food trucks, bands. They're going to have obviously have plenty to do with the kid, for the kids. They got zip lines there that you can go fishing and things. But anyway, after the race, they got an after party. Evidently, there's a really nice restaurant there.
The kitchen.
The kitchen at Shelby Farms.
Where? I've never seen that before.
Right there where the visitor center used to be. They tore all that down and built a whole new thing.
Oh.
Yeah.
And the kitchen is there
It's
now. And it's supposed to be really
well.
good.
I got online and looked at the reviews. I mean, it's just fantastic.
I have not been there, but I know several people who have who say it's really good.
But he did say
Date
that
night.
Date night. Sounds good.
Ava, we're going.
Preferably not with a 50-mile race included.
No, I won't be in town that day, actually.
When is it?
17th of March.
I'll be
next
in
year.
Nashville at a pharmacy convention.
Is that St. Patrick's Day?
Your microphone is perfect. Keep it right there.
Is that St. Patrick's Day?
Yes.
Is it
The
Okay.
17th?
Well, you asked who would run that race. Like, who would run a 50-mile race?
You're running a 100-mile race in 3 weeks.
Bond will be there.
You said it as if the concept was so foreign that you couldn't imagine anybody wanting to do that.
He's not sure why he said it.
I think
I already dug one hole.
I think people in Memphis might be more apt if it's something in the hometown to
No, I
go
think
try.
it's going to be a great race. One thing, now this is what's cool. Well, one thing he did say, the swag bags are going to be a lot nicer. It's going to have better metals. But this is what got my attention. When he was on the podcast, he was talking about several charities that he researched, and he donated the money when he did the 100-mile race too. He's got a pre-selected list of charities. Every racer that shows up, he will give $100 to, and they pick the charity of their choice from this list, and he'll donate that money.
Wow.
Oh, really? Okay.
To the to the charity in the runner's name.
Oh, wow. That's crazy.
That is really good.
That is cool. I thought that was the coolest thing.
Yeah.
He is clearly a successful guy.
I don't think whatever he touches,
And
I think
obviously
turns to
very
gold.
philanthropic.
He
Yeah.
sent a thank you card. I meant to bring it out here and forgot.
Yeah.
He had sent a thank you card just saying thanks for having him on.
Oh,
Super
really?
classy.
Yeah.
Did he fill out an iTunes review with 5 stars?
He has not.
Well, I'm calling him out.
That would up his class game. wouldn't
Right.
it? We should let him know. He has people. He has people that you go through to get to him, which means something. So, Chris, you can go to his people and say,
Yeah, I'll
leave us a
contact him.
5-star
Go to
review on
his
iTunes.
people and say 5-star review. Vaughn will come run your 50-mile race.
Exactly.
on the
Exactly.
That's
Tour-
all.
Tour de Wolf.
Vaughn's giving his word. He's in.
We recorded that.
5-star review. I'm not kidding.
How are
And
you-
oh wait, 5-star review and a tweet.
That's
A tweet.
How you feeling about Tunnel Hill? How is everyone feeling about Tunnel Hill?
I'm going to make it. It's probably not going to be as pretty as I want it to. Just because I kind of hurt more than I thought I was going to after the marathon I ran last weekend. But I'll make it.
It's going to be a vacation for me. I can't wait.
I'm a horrible runner. I'm
Are
an
you?
absolutely horrible runner. We did a marathon this past week, I did a half marathon. Amanda did a marathon, and it was kind of a good benchmark for how I'm going to do at Tunnel Hill. It was horrible.
Well, you know who can help you with that?
Valerie Hunt.
That's right.
Valerie Hunt can help me with that, and she is helping a lot of people with that. Nice plug. That's a way to roll right. That's my guy right there. That's the Reverend.
How about that wingman?
That's how the Reverend rolls.
right.
He's making up ground. Me and Vaughn on shaky ground. That's where we're solid. So Valerie is doing programming for Lift Heavy Run Long, and she is on a mission to teach the world how to run properly, and she is good at it. And she is not afraid to instruct and get in front of the camera and produce videos. She's going to be producing weekly challenges for Lift Heavy Run Long. And I'm super excited about it.
There is nobody I've ever met in my life that loves running more than that woman loves running.
Isn't that the truth?
And she is not scared to tell anybody about what she does. She will shout it from the rooftops, and she is really good at it.
And she
You know,
believes
she
in
is-
it like as much
Yeah.
as you can believe in what it is that you're trying to do, especially when you got something that's so hard to get people to believe in. You know, I did that. Our relationship pretty much started because I took that pose method of running class that you taught, that 6-week long workshop.
Right.
And actually, a lot of people at the gym, my relationship started with them because they were runners, kind of crossing over into CrossFit.
Yeah.
And I didn't know anything about running, so I didn't have any. I guess I don't want to say I didn't have any bad habits, but I knew so little about how to run that the first thing that I learned was, how to run properly. And I'm not saying that I run properly, but I do have a background in it, and I think that's been helpful. I don't get hurt often. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm a terrible runner, but I'm not injured very often.
Well, it's something that just about everybody does not do is learn how to run, right? And I was fortunate enough to, when I first started running and got into CrossFit, that Valerie was one of the first people that I was exposed to, that her method of running. I didn't know any better. I didn't go put my shoes on and go run a marathon.
How'd you
or
beat Valerie?
whatever. She was a CrossFit endurance coach. And I followed her for a long time because she was a CrossFit endurance. She's pretty much the CrossFit endurance coach.
Okay.
You know, and there was Brian McKenzie and Valerie. And I followed her forever. And then eventually, it was kind of like an internet celebrity. You know, like I followed her, I watched her videos and all this stuff. And I hired, this was probably 4 years ago, that I hired a company that she was working for, that she was a coach with, that had a bunch of other coaches. And I hired them, and she ended up being my coach. Like, they assigned her to me, and I was like, oh, yeah. Like, I can't believe you're going to be my coach. And,
Like, who is this guy?
she actually knew who I was. And I remember specifically, she was at the games or regionals. Mike Bledsoe was there, and they took a picture together, and she texted me and said, look who I just saw. I told him I was going to be your running coach. I was like, yeah. Because Mike was my coach before.
Right.
And so anyway, that's how we kind of met, and she knew that I worked for Barbell Shrugged and did all the computer stuff. And like, so if you put me here on the computer, I'm up here. She's on with the technology is like below. I can't put my arm further down in the thing, and she knows that. That's fine. So like I help her in that way. Right. I also love running, and I can coach you in running, not as well as she can. She's a brilliant coach. But we have those things that complement each other, which is I can do all her computer stuff, so we do the Run RX thing together because I can help her make that technology thing happen. So we've had that kind of relationship for a while. So,
And she's essentially internet celebrity status.
well, I mean,
But she doesn't want to hear any of that. All she wants to do is coach running. She doesn't want to learn how to use a computer. She doesn't want to know how to do this. She wants to coach running. She wants to find somebody in a grocery store and teach them how to run. She wants to find somebody at a park and teach them how to run.
Right.
And that is her passion.
And share it with as many people as possible, you know. So I think that's the goal, is just to whoever wants to learn how to run, I want to help them, and let's do it. I mean, she's got Run RX has like 15,000 plus followers on Instagram. People, she's been putting a video out every day for who knows how long, you know. So she loves what she does.
Yep. She's got over 20,000 followers on there. What'd you do this last weekend?
I ran the marathon,
You want to talk about it?
I guess.
Why are you so glum?
So we went to Chattanooga and I ran the 7 Bridges marathon, and you ran the 4 half.
4 bridges.
4 Bridges half. Yep.
You did 4 bridges and she did 7. Okay.
Yep. So it started downtown Chattanooga at the park.
She lifted 315 pounds.
At Coolidge Park, and ran all the way out to the dam and back, which is down on 153, which I don't know how many people know Chattanooga, but I just can't believe that's only 26 miles. But anyway, so we were running at about mile, I guess 15, may have been earlier than that. Anyway, my watch clicked, and I was slowly passing the signs, and my mileage wasn't adding up anymore. And I finally made it a whole mile ahead of what the mile markers were saying. And I was really confused. I was like, what's going on? Is my GPS off that bad? There's not a bunch of trees. I don't know what's going on. So keep running. And towards the end, we finally find out that the course is actually an entire mile longer. It's 27.2
All right.
instead of 26. So we're like trying to, go and figure out what's going on. Just go ahead and run the whole thing. Get done. I get my medal. We go home, and on the news, they have this thing saying, 2 years ago, which we ran the half 2 years ago, 4 Bridges half, they miscalculated and it was short. It was like 12.4, 12.2.
And so the guy was like, this year it's not going to be short.
So last year was fine. Then this year, again, they're like, everything's cool. Half marathon was short, 12.4, and we were over a whole mile. And so people have given them.
People are hot.
I just
Hell.
don't understand how that happens. I'm on that hot side, I think. Are you on that hot side? Because what does it take to make sure that I could turn my watch on and go run the race, or hell, I could just go drive my car. I don't even know.
I would think you can get on Google Earth and figure it out pretty close.
We can't drive a car because some of the stuff's on like a river walk, like
But
down away from the road.
I'm going to say,
but you can ride a bike.
I'm not a race director. Never done a race directing thing. However, I feel like if I was going to be a race director and this is my race, I'm going to make sure I go run that route at least one time with my watch, and it's going to be at least 26.2 as close as possible.
So that
if it's not, I'm going to go run it again.
Yeah.
I'll just do it because that's
So that's what everybody was saying on the feed, on the Facebook feed when they submitted their apology, and people were like, "I just don't understand how you can get this wrong," and they were like, "We hired the top route certifier people that there is out there. After 2 years ago, we wanted to make sure everything was good." And anyway, people were like, "Why didn't you run it? Why didn't you bike it?" And so the excuse was, and I do see this. Part of that run is on like a very super busy highway, and without blocking that off or giving you any kind of extra room, you could very well get hit by a car, especially going across the dam and all that stuff and parts of the road. But still.
So then here's what you do.
You walk it.
You say, it may or may not be a marathon. Like, if you want to run the 7 bridges, maybe a marathon. because traffic is so bad, we couldn't verify that it's actually a marathon.
If I'm inviting 1,000 people to my house to eat ribs, we're serving ribs. We're not serving ribs. We're not going to serve hot dogs.
Well, now all we have is pulled pork.
But they came here for the rib championship.
Well, pulled pork. That's all we got. But I signed up for the rib. Well, we got pulled pork.
Well, originally I thought, you know what, get over it. I couldn't be happier that the thing was short. On my end, of course, I'm not running a marathon. On the half marathon side, I thought the only thing better than it being a mile short would be if it was 4 miles short, because that's great for me. But if I was running a marathon and had to take a step over a marathon, that the only step I would be taking would be towards that race director with whatever projectile I could find to launch at his eyeball.
I actually don't have a problem so much with it being longer. I don't think I would complain about it, but I would stop my watch at 26.2. For me, that's what I would do. 26.2 watch stops. I'm okay with that. When it's short, I can't deal with it. Like, I almost have to go run and finish. There's been several races where it's like I've stopped and I'm like, that was a good race. That was a 20-minute 5K. It was only
2.9
miles.
Well, okay, so here's the other deal. So I crossed the finish line. He videoed it, showed me dying. Get my medal. Boom, there's my medal. Here's my 171. They don't have a time for me. I'm not existing on the roster.
Oh, no.
So they never did fix it.
Well, and before that, the 7 Bridges Marathon people are pretty hostile on the page. They're not, okay, we fouled up, like this was bad. They fouled up the shirts. They found out that the medals were from somewhere else that they had just put a sticker on.
The half marathon medals.
There was all this stuff, and 7 Bridges Marathon is firing back, at the people on Facebook. Well, this or that. Well, this or that. And it's like, why don't you just wave the white flag?
What's wrong with people? Did you see the story about the vegan restaurant in Memphis that has the kids running around?
Yeah, that's the first thing that came to mind.
It's the same thing. Like I was eating my meal and there's a kid with a diaper pooping next to my what's wrong with you? Like, you can't. I get that it's a vegan restaurant or whatever, but I'm not coming back here anymore. So it's the same thing. Like, what you messed up. Just own it.
Well, so that doesn't happen, and then Amanda does what?
All right, so of course everybody's mad at that. So they post on their apology and that they're going to adjust the times because it's a Boston Qualifier race.
Oh no,
that's where the problem comes in.
So they're going to adjust the times. So we waited like 3 days or whatever it was or more to get our times. And they release our times, and my name's not on there. So I shoot them a Facebook message. I'm like, hey, my name's not on here.
I was going to go to Boston.
Yeah, right. Not with my time.
It's supposed to be 3 hours.
But I didn't stop my watch when I finished racing, so I really don't know. I want to be always. I'm not a great runner, so anything 5 hours to 5 hours 59 minutes is fine. But I just don't want to leak over into that 6 anyway. So I get on there, my time's not there. It's like, oh, okay. Email them or message them, and like, okay, well, we think we got it fixed, because all these other people were like, yeah, my name's not on here. My name's not on here. It's a pretty big feed. They do whatever. Okay, refresh and go back in. A bunch of people are like, yeah, it's there now. Yeah, it's there now. And I'm like, I'm still not on there. They're like, okay. So I sent them a picture of my my finalist, my medal, and my bib, which I never keep my bibs. I throw my bibs away at the race when I get done. I don't know why, but thank God I did. And it checked out at the beginning, because at the beginning when you pick up your bib, they go over and they have you swipe it across their electronics to make sure you're good, and it came up green, good. So I don't know what has happened. But anyway, so after a while of me corresponding with them on that feed, they deleted the feed.
They shut her off.
They shut me off.
Shut it
so then
down.
I switched to IM, and I'm like, I'm still not on there. And I was like, I didn't shut my watch off.
This lady's not going away. What do I do?
And I told him, I was like, I'm not a Boston qualifier or anything, and it's actually a pretty bad score. You know, it's a later time, but I still want to know my official time and at least put me on the roster that I did this thing, because I just ran 27.2 miles. And so I was getting pretty mad at them today because they hadn't answered from yesterday, but they finally answered. And I asked them, I was like, my husband has a video. I have my official time of finishing. I just need to know how to adjust it. Can you please give me the calculations to adjust my own time? So they gave me the adjustments.
Oh.
And then I just asked at the end, I'm like, thank you. Can you just put my name on the roster to show that I actually participated in this race? And she's like, Jay, the race director, is working on this.
And then one more thing. Can you go give Lift Heavy Run Long a 5-star review?
Well, I told her.
She told her she was on a podcast. She said people are going to be following up to make sure I ran this thing.
Yeah, we're going to talk
Yeah.
about that.
So, yeah, I was like, I'm on a podcast, so if they go, yeah, right, she didn't run that race, her name's not even on the roster. I know, I'm sure all our fans out there go to the roster every time I run a race. But
There's
anyway,
someone out there, I'm sure, that is.
Here's a thought. So we're, myself included, upset about this marathon, these 5Ks, the things that we do that on the road, where, okay, if the time's not right, I'm gonna get upset, and if the distance isn't right, is it different with an ultra marathon where I feel like if I ran a 50-mile race and came in and went to the race director, he'd be like, "You're out of luck, dude." Like what? Like my time's not right or whatever. They'd just be like, "Oh, okay." Because it's it seems like a whole different animal. You know what I mean?
Well, it would either be that, or it'd be like, well, what was your time? And you're like, I don't know, 6 hours. Okay, here's 6 hours.
All right, let's write that down.
There's a medal with a sticker on it.
Did you grab the page out of the book up at the top of the mountain? Well, yeah,
What
I got
book?
it right here.
Well, whatever.
Okay.
I'm not getting tied up in the details, man.
So there's a contrast there.
Very much. But the whole, when I look at it as a guy like me who's out there to avoid being 400 pounds versus a person who's churning it out to get to Boston.
Oh yeah,
I can certainly see where people
the
would be
difference right
really,
there,
really
yeah.
angry about that.
Oh man.
Oh, my goodness.
If you were gonna go, if I ran a 3-hour and 15-minute marathon, and the dude was like, "Well, sorry, clock broke," deleted me on Facebook, I'd be livid. I'd be knocking
The
on that dude's
Facebook
door.
more so than the long marathon.
Man. Oh my God.
I met the leader of that marathon. I was on mile 11, and he was already coming back, going towards the finish. It was amazing.
I wonder if he's on a podcast right now going, "Man, I ran my qualifying race in 3 hours," and the guy.
I guess they fixed it, or they're in the process of fixing it.
I mean, they've got everything posted. It's just me that I know of. I've not seen any other complaints of anybody else not having their name on there. I don't know.
I haven't looked to see if I'm on there. I could
are.
care whether I'm on there or not.
You ran it.
I'm gonna call him and tell him I was on there.
Well, if there was your chance to qualify for Boston,
Boston,
this might
there
be.
was.
I could
might
be like,
it.
hey, I was there. I ran 3:15.
I got a picture with Lazarus Lakes while I was there.
I saw that. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah. And I just assumed that he was gone, but I could have, while she was finishing her marathon, I could have gone over there and hung out with him probably and gotten to know him, which would have been pretty
Yeah,
cool.
I wanted to
you-
meet him so bad, and at the finish, when I finished my race, he was standing over next to they were doing the award ceremony when I finished, and he was standing there, and I was in so much pain. I was like, there's Laz. Okay, I'm going home.
Did I see a comment that you made that you fell over a thing and said, was that a joke? Or
No, that was
did you
that was
actually-
for real. There was cameras set up over there. We were over by a curb, and there's a tripod. And when I went to shake his hand, he stepped backwards and hit that tripod that a camera was on. Probably
running.
not that camera. It was a, real media news camera.
Right,
probably a $20,000 camera. And so he tripped over that tripod, and so I grabbed his arm while I was shaking his hand, and the media lady came over and held him up. So it was we got off to a rocky start. I
And
guess.
so he's going to be here next week.
I didn't get there. I didn't get to any podcast opportunity, but I bet we can make that happen. Steve Durbin and him are good friends. Who's the race director at Tunnel Hill?
Yeah.
Who I interviewed for the documentary. I am back on fire with that documentary, by the way. I've not looked at it. I took a break from it. I didn't have any more footage. So the only thing left for me to do was just obsess over what I had. Just obsess. So I got away from it. Now I have I've accumulated more footage. I've got it all loaded up, and taking the time away totally threw off my game, my organizational game, where things are. It's a lot of workflow to be found again.
Are you at the level now where if someone took a cell phone video, would you put it in the documentary, or are you I don't want that?
I don't really want that.
So you've come a long way, baby. You have.
I think so.
Now you're
so.
That's real.
He's a video snob.
Yeah.
Well, having Chris going out there and taking video, so we have B-roll to roll over good audio, which is key. I found that I really don't enjoy being behind the camera unless it's like a podcast situation, like an interview situation. I don't enjoy going somewhere and
it's just something you have to do.
And I enjoy editing.
Yeah. Okay.
If Chris was filming, if Chris was bringing me media all the time and saying, here's video, I would love to just sit behind a computer and make it all work and put it all together. But the actual holding of the camera just puts up a wall between me and whoever else I'm trying to interact with, and I don't like it.
I got you.
So, which I'm assuming that's why they probably have multiple people when they put together things,
documentary,
producers and writers, and I don't know what all the lingo is.
Well, I got some news.
What do you got?
All right.
Talk to me.
I'm going to sign up for Sylamore.
Woohoo!
That's great news.
Well, you better do it November 1st before 1 at 1:01 p.m.
Yeah.
Do you need to be connected to Wi-Fi? Does that make a difference?
You need to have as solid a connection as possible.
Do we need to build a tower here? Have a special server put in?
I'll probably do it at work. So
I will too. They know at work when it becomes that time, I'm hunched over the computer, I refresh.
And the code comes in, and you're going to have to wait. Hold your breath.
Yep. They're going to have to do the code
Don't
without me.
stroke out now, Grandma. I got to get on this Sylamore stuff.
That's a good example of going back to the ultra contrast between the marathon road race thing. That guy has a website that, he'll turn it on. 300 people register, and that's it.
Shut it all down.
People are like, "Where's my name at?" Well, your name will get on the list whenever I get around to putting your name on. If you have a question, you can email me and I'll answer it whenever I get around to answering it.
Well, you let Nancy change bibs last year. Well, you ain't Nancy, and this ain't last year.
And we're not doing that. Do you want your hoodie or not? You know, like, yeah, that's what I want. Just want my hoodie. I'll do whatever you want.
Well, I'm sorry, we're out of hoodies. Here's an extra glass.
Right.
Beer
Okay.
mug.
Pub glass. Okay.
So, Chris, you're signed up, and you're
Not
also well, you're signed up mentally. You're going to sign up for
Mentally,
Sylamore.
I'm signed up,
You've
and I've
got,
gotten it approved by Candace.
and you're getting coaching from Valerie that starts Monday.
Yep.
Oh, wow.
Starts Monday. Yep.
All right.
So he's signed up for Valerie's strength and running program and video analysis. So she's going to check out his run, and he'll have drills that can make him a better runner.
Send funny videos to her.
And then at Sylamore, we'll all be crammed in the same house and probably podcasting from there. We can see if our Lift Heavy Run Long sticker that I put up on the cabinet 2 years ago is still there.
You too can join us on this trip.
That's what I told him, that if we had the mountain cabin, that we should rent the other cabin, like you said, like a cruise, and have people come in town and spend the weekend with us and pay just maybe even $200.
Yeah.
Helicopter them in and give away a tank.
Not that it's like, hey, here's an idea to make money, but it would be cool to be able to feed people and like, okay, you know, like $200. We got food, we got beer, we got whatever. You know what I mean?
Absolutely,
that would be
yeah.
awesome.
That would be totally
It
awesome.
would be like a Lift Heavy Run Long retreat.
My
That's like a
model,
lot of responsibility.
my model of business, unfortunately, doesn't involve profit, which is a problem. But if I could just have people come in town and meet them and run with them,
Yeah.
and that would be just. I wish we had unlimited budget to do that.
But Amanda, do the math. You're smart. Like how many people?
You save lives.
Like how many people could you take to Sylamore for $300 a piece?
Oh, a piece? Wow.
One, maybe.
And you
What?
could say, okay, well, 30 people. We got spots for 30 people to come to Sylamore. We're gonna make it a huge party. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm down with that.
Well, you'd have to follow
I mean,
through
you have to
with
get a
it.
bunch of food. You have to
That'd
get a
be
bunch
a lot of work.
alcohol. Yeah, that's a
Yeah.
lot of work.
Larry would get drunk and fall off the rock and bump his head.
Oh God! And then we get sued. There goes that idea.
We'd have to get Scott to like write up some kind of waiver.
Yeah.
Then we'd have to get him to sign it. So we'd have to remember to bring pens and the waiver. It'd be a hassle. Everything's a hassle.
Oh well.
Doing things.
It was a good
are
idea. I like
hassle.
talking about stuff like that. That's a good
I mean,
idea.
someday,
That's a good
yeah,
idea.
that would probably
You know,
be-
if we went into it, I would execute it. I'd follow through with it. That's for sure. To the point of being completely obnoxious with it.
I'm worried about the guy falling off the mountain though.
Yeah,
That's a thing.
that's a real thing. I mean, if you're the kind of guy that's going to run 31 miles in the mountains, you're probably the kind of guy that's willing to drink a fifth of whiskey up there the night before and fall off. And
Somebody
knock
will
your
say
teeth out.
something offensive, and all of a sudden you got a lawsuit.
Yep.
Why do people ruin everything?
Ricky gets mad at Jimmy.
Because
they
people
get
suck.
into it with locals. Ricky gets upset with the locals and starts a fight.
There you go. That's why we're not doing it.
You know what? We're not going to do it because people have spoiled it for
That's
us.
right.
It went from the greatest thing
But we were.
to screw all y'all.
Ruiners.
So this weekend I'm running the what is it called? The Big River Half? Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
Where is it?
Here in Memphis.
I
Gosh, I don't even remember what it's called now. It's like something about river crossing. I should know this.
Where
Probably
is it?
by the river.
Here in Memphis, it's going to cross that
Downtown?
bridge to Arkansas and back.
Really?
Yeah.
I like that.
Now I got to look it up. Brian Swanson's going to run it.
What
so
day is it?
I'm meeting him Saturday.
I'm running something on
I think today's the last day to sign up for it if you want to do
No,
it.
I'll probably just go run. I'll band it. Just go run it.
I'm running on Sunday something at Shelby Forest, Melissa Burgess as a birthday present. She said, "I'll sign you up." If
Big
you'll run
River
with me."
Crossing Half Marathon. That's it.
All right.
That's a really cool little run. Have you been over there?
I've heard it's fun.
Yeah, it's awesome. I'm impressed that they did. I'm really glad that they did that because you can just run right. And where my work is, I can go right out the front door and run. It's probably half a mile, not even that, over to the bridge, and then you can run all the way across to Arkansas. And then there's a spot where you can stop and take a picture, and you can see the Memphis Bridge and
cool.
the Mississippi River, and then so I can go. It's from the door of my work all the way across the bridge, turn around, come back. It's 4 miles.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Ava, you like to run?
It depends.
Can you see yourself maybe getting into it one day?
One day.
It's a fun thing to do.
I didn't mean to rudely cut you off. What was your race that you're
No,
doing?
my race is not important.
We also have to volunteer that afternoon for the Habitat for Humanity 5K.
That's going to be fun.
Oh my gosh, I have to do
Is
that.
Wilson going to be at the aid station?
Yes,
It's
we are.
crazy.
Are you really?
We're doing aid station for North Mississippi Endurance.
There may not be as much food there as we thought there was going to be
Who ate all
originally.
the
I'll bring some food.
all the M&Ms.
I'm on the board of that race. I have been for the last 4 years, but it's crazy because the last 4 years I didn't have to go to work, and so we had meetings at like 11 in the morning and whatever.
Some odd times.
Now I can't. 8:30 to 5:30, I can't. They're like so I get the email still, and I get the text messages, and they're like, "Oh, meeting tomorrow at 11," or so I'm like, "Sorry, I can't come." So he moved it to 5. He's like, "Okay, so I'm moving the meeting to 5 o'clock so everybody can make it." And I'm like, "Well, I don't.
Still can't come.
Sorry, I don't get off till 5:30. Like I can't get to South Haven at 5 o'clock. So
We moved it to 7. Can't make it.
So I feel like crap, but whatever.
I mean, it works.
That race
It
has
is what it
grown
is.
quite a bit over
It's
the
a
years.
fun race. It really is. I just love that little loop. In fact, I've done like a couple of different races there.
Yeah, we did the St. Patrick's one.
We've been doing a St. Patrick's. Donnie Chambliss is the same guy that does the home run 5K, and we've done the St. Patty's Day run there every year too. It's like a 4 mile race, and nobody ever shows up to it, but it's awesome because
That's Bond's perfect race. The one that nobody shows up
no,
for.
I would love for tons of people to be there. We have like plenty of beer and plenty of everything.
Yeah, there's a ton of beer. there.
It's like it's free beer, it's free everything. People don't show up, but
He keeps sliding that in there.
Free
you,
beer,
you should
free
show
beer.
up this St. Patrick's Day because there's like
Well,
Except
but
for
they're going to do
nobody's
that
gonna be
50
there.
miler. Chris Clothier's doing the 50
well, here we go.
Well, actually, yeah, it was on St. Patrick's Day. I was thinking it was the day before St. Patrick's, but it wasn't St. Patrick's.
It is on St. Patrick's. It's usually in the evening time, which is weird. It's not usually on the weekend. So
Now, Chris's race starts at 7 a.m. So
yeah, so you could go do that and then go over to the
run
St.
50
Patrick's.
miles.
Go
then
run 50 miles, then head on over and do 4 more.
Mm-hmm.
I've got some hypotheticals. Should we wrap it up or should we do these hypothetical questions? I didn't know that we would have.
Hey, Sean's listening live. Guess he just told me the name of the half I was running.
Sean is the reason that I'm so excited about going to volunteer for the.
We do have a
Race
question
on Sunday.
Facebook.
Who asked a question?
Jess.
Before I even
wanted.
wanted.
You got a high and tight.
I got it. It's tight. And there's nothing high about it.
It was high when she started, but she kept talking. Now it's just tight.
It's
Maybe
just
she was
tight.
high.
I got it cut tight by someone very high. There is nothing high about it. There was for a moment, and I was like, yes, like that's good. That's
Short
good.
and slick.
It's like I go to the racetrack, like police show up, there's like 1,000 people. I'm like, all right, it's all right. Take it right over
Take
there off
another
airport.
drag off my cigarette.
It's like, oh gosh.
Oh, so I have something cool to say. So I was getting in the elevator the other day, and a nurse got in with me, and she was like, "Wait just a second. I saw something on Facebook that was really funny, and you guys were on there." And she's like, "I've been watching it, but I'm not really sure what I'm watching, but it's really funny." And I was only able to watch like 10 minutes of it, and I had to go. But she goes, "I'm going to pick back up on it. What are y'all doing?" And I was like, I know what she was talking about at first because she said video, and I was like, what video is she talking about? I was like, oh, our podcast. I was like, we have a lift heavy run long podcast. She's like, well, what is that? And I was like, well, we lift weights and we run. But she's neither of those. I mean, she's an older nurse, and
Well, and I think that's a lot of people don't realize this podcast is also about getting people motivated. Or, the whole lift heavy run long has turned into really getting people motivated to get off the couch and to get into it. So
Is that a weird conversation for you to have?
a little because I'm not really used to
I can't stand it.
like Sam Renfro.
You got a podcast? You're on a podcast?
It is an awkward.
What? So
There's not a good platform. I don't have a good elevator speech for what it is.
No, it doesn't even have to pertain to lift heavy run long. Just you can subtract that whole thing out and be like, you're on a podcast? What's a podcast? Why are you on a podcast? Well, we talk on a microphone. Well, what do you do that for? Then you have to explain, well, we run and we do this. Well,
What does that have to do with microphone?
right. And then it's just like,
Yeah, it was
you
weird
run
explaining
a
it to
50-mile
her.
race with a microphone
right.
on your
And
head.
then that's a whole other problem. Like, we're on 50, what?
Yeah.
Why the heck are you running 100
Just
miles?
don't worry about it.
And then, so I'm just inclined to just be like, nope, that's not me.
No, but I
don't know what you're
kind
talking
of explained to her as best I could, but she was like, well, I'm going to go back and watch it because you guys are really funny. So I'm hoping maybe we'll motivate Allison to start exercising.
Wouldn't that be great?
We need to hook her up with Valerie.
I
As
love
long as
this
she
thing.
gives us a 5-star review on iTunes.
That's step one to the whole. That's step one to fitness.
I'll
to
text
a
my
healthier-
friends tonight and tell them to leave a 5-star review.
Will you do that?
Yeah.
That would be great. You could really get something started because you have friends that are competent and able to use a computer in that way. I don't know that, that's a hard thing to do, leaving a review.
They don't
on
use
iTunes.
computers, they use phones.
Or whatever. Well, you can't do it on a phone. You have to do it on.
Do you?
You're going to have to call
I did
Santa
mine
and
on my phone.
tell him to
That's-
jump up and get you a
that-
laptop.
That's why Valerie Hunt has never given us a 5-star
See,
review.
Dad, I need a Apple laptop to
Talk
leave
to Santa.
5-star
you
reviews.
go.
Talk to Santa.
There you go.
So I can leave 5-star reviews. I need
right.
a laptop.
Well, I tell
Day
you
in
what,
and
you
day
tell
out.
Mr. Vaughn, since he wants this 5-star review.
I told you there's one right there. Take it home with you.
We're at an hour. Should we wrap it up? You want the hypotheticals?
How many hypotheticals do you have?
It's just a few.
What hypotheticals? What are we doing?
I just came up with some
Is this
hypotheticals.
a game?
I got a feeling it's going to be a game.
I have to pee, so let's do one hypothetical.
All right. If you were running down a bike path and you hear someone running after you, you saw your best friend being dragged away, would you try to rescue them or call the police and tell them what's going on?
You hear somebody running after you, and at the same time you see your best friend being dragged away?
You're running. You
So
and your
somebody's
friend are
chasing
running.
me.
Somebody's chasing y'all, but they grab you and I are running.
Oh, okay.
Something comes out of the woods that you can't really identify with, like one of those red hooded things, like we watched in The Village. Just
I had
really,
to watch The Village the other day.
really
Those you don't
creepy.
speak of?
It's really scary.
Yes.
And
Charlie.
it grabs me and it drags me away. Would you run after me and try to help me, or would you run straight to
It
the
depends
police?
on if the miles clicked over. if it's like
What's your pace?
3.75, I'm like, oh,
Hold on.
I got a quarter mile. And I'll be
I don't
right back.
know. That's a hard one.
Yeah, this one's better. We're going to do two. Vaughn, you got time for another one?
Yeah.
This one's important, and I need to know this about you. You're walking in a forest. I would say you're running in a forest because this is a fitness podcast.
Yeah.
You're running in. I'd be walking though. You're running in a forest, and you found a black suitcase. Inside it holds $1 million, and there's a piece of paper stained in blood with the single word, "Don't." Do you take it?
Yeah,
No way.
No way. You don't touch it.
I'm
Yep.
taking it.
Ava,
I wouldn't have opened the
No.
briefcase to begin
you don't
with.
take it.
No.
It's $1 million. You can buy a lot of. You can buy a lot of MacBooks with $1 million.
I'd be gone by then if I saw the word.
I'm taking it.
She wouldn't be running in the woods by herself.
I'm taking it because I want to know what happens. We even talked about this on this podcast.
We did.
Figure out
Yes.
what the episode is, but the button,
Yep.
Just the four of us. Just the three of us. That's the episode
yeah,
with the button.
yeah, I would totally take it.
Because there's a similar question with you wanting to know what would happen if you could read up to, if you found a book in the woods. You're running in the woods. You just got done with a triathlon because this is a fitness podcast, and then you went in the woods to use the restroom and you found a book, and it was the story of your life, and you read through the book up until this point in your life. Do you continue reading and know what happens with the rest of it?
Oh yeah,
Or do you
I
walk?
continue reading.
Do you really?
Oh,
No.
yeah.
I couldn't.
You want to
yeah.
know? You
Yeah.
want to know how it all ends?
What if you continue reading, but you could change?
You can't.
Can't.
That's
is
real.
interesting.
That was stated clearly in the question.
That's a really good one. I like this one. I would not continue reading, but I'm the guy that does not mind being spoiled with a TV show or a movie. Like you could tell me the whole story,
You can tell the ending.
Great example is Twin Peaks is one of my favorite shows, and they came out with a new a new season this past year. I was spoiled every single time. Like I went on. There was one time where in Europe their cable thing accidentally leaked the next episode a week early, and so people were posting about what happened in the next episode that I hadn't seen yet. I read the whole thing. Still watched it and enjoyed the hell out of it. Like it was awesome, and I can do that. You can tell me the movie. If you tell me what happens, I'll still enjoy it.
Can you watch a movie more than once?
It depends on the movie.
See, I
That's
can't.
the whole
So you
other
think
conversation.
you could enjoy your
I
life
can't.
if you know that you're going to get hit by a train and
Nah, I
10
mean,
months.
yeah. If you're like, oh, you're gonna be dead in
that
a
spoils
year,
it for you.
like, I don't want to know that. That's a totally different animal. There's two different things.
So I have a question, but it's not a hypothetical. It's from Paul Pinkley.
Okay.
To earn the right to
Does
wear
it have the F word?
it does
Is
not.
Is it about my hair?
No. This is actually like legit.
Okay.
I like this, Paul. To earn the right to wear a 26.2 mile 400 deadlift shirt, do they have to be done in the same decade? How about same century? Asking for a friend.
That's a good question. I don't have a stance on that at all.
I have an answer.
What is it?
I have a stance. Decades probably too much. So not always, but I usually try to always pull 400 within the same year of a long race.
Good thing I'm doing that 50 miler again this year.
if you have a standard, like for me, and it was my idea after all, like I always want to maintain a 400. Like I can pull more than that if I'm trying. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So if it was 2 years, okay. Is
Okay,
it
mine
just-
was two. It's
you know,
almost 2
like,
years.
I pulled
Okay.
my. I'll never do it again.
Pull 400, run a marathon.
You'll never do.
You know,
But
like-
once you do it, you're done. You don't have to continue. You don't have to take your name down when you can't do it.
That's right. So let's say you pulled 400 in a year, and then 6 months later you went and ran a marathon. Okay,
Yeah. Paul, get off your butt and run a
You're in
marathon.
the club.
He can do that.
you know.
Paul's run a marathon, hadn't he?
Yeah, that's why he's asking. Probably
okay.
probably a decade
Tell
ago.
him
Oh,
I'll-
gotcha.
I'll make you my shirt.
Yeah. Just order the shirt, Paul. It doesn't make a difference.
Paul's just like an honorary member anyway.
Yeah. Paul, go ahead and get the 50 mile. Nobody cares. You know, I need to find the right verbiage for the 5,400. I can't say club. I hate the word club.
Really?
I hate the exclusivity.
I love
of
it.
I do not.
I do too.
I don't.
You notice the two introverts? Like,
Because there's only a few people in a club.
yeah, exactly.
You don't have to deal
I
with
don't,
like
I don't
most
like
people.
that.
You gotta have that though.
I think you're right. I agree. I haven't thought of a way around
At
it.
some point there has to
the
be a
50
disconnect.
the 5,400 thing. Like I keep trying to group.
No.
Yeah, making the 5,400 group.
Well-
Thank you, Ava. You're welcome here
Yeah,
anytime.
because
you know
every-
what? You can sit in that corner
Because
chair where Vaughn's
everybody,
sitting.
everybody wants to be in the 5,400 entity. I want that sticker. Are you in the entity yet?
Oh, speaking of which, I want my new sticker to put on the back of my car.
Yeah.
I need that.
Yeah.
Do you have one?
Yeah.
You do?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I got a bunch of them. We got stickers. Keto made the stickers.
Okay.
So that's it. Anybody else got anything to say?
That was fun.
That was fun. We should do it more often.
I don't have any more questions. I'm good.
So I guess I
Ava,
had
do you
to-
have a website you want to plug, or
I'm
we can
good.
find
You
you
got
on
any
Twitter
sponsors
and
you need
Instagram?
to talk about? You got your Front Porch Learning Center shirt on. We're big fans of the Front Porch Learning Center. They've
Hashtag.
been great to.
Ava Perry.
Ava, how many reviews can you promise me by next week? I need a commitment.
Don't give him your phone number.
He'll be texting you every 5 minutes. Did you do it? Did you do it?
She's like in detention. Wilson's texting her. I didn't ask him to do
My
that.
dad's strange friend won't leave me alone.
Just give me the reviews. How many?
I don't know.
3? Can you give me 3?
Yeah, but they all might be from me.
That's fine. That's fine. You can get.
He doesn't.
I'll make them under different names.
Yeah, I was gonna say he doesn't care who they're
Yeah,
from.
No, not at
you
all.
can just make up names. That's
Not
what
at
he
all.
does.
I'm on that level. Lift Heavy Run Long episode number 70. Just the 4 of us. 5 of us though is in the books.
Boom.